Hey guys, today we're going to go ahead and talk about writing a summary. And a summary isn't giving us every single detail about what you've read, it's just giving us the main points to help us better understand what we read, or just to give somebody an idea of what happened. So, if we're going to be writing a summary, we first want to know that a summary is a short retelling of a story, that keyword being short. And we also summarize every time we tell our friends or our family about what we did during the day, about a vacation or a movie we saw. We even summarize to our mom and dad maybe what we learned in school. We don't give them everything in a step-by-step, here's how you do it, just a quick little, oh, I learned how to do 2-step word problems today. And that's a summary. So we can't tell everything that we did, so we're just going to tell what's most important. And that would be the main idea, so what the whole thing is about, and just a few details. We can usually do this in just a few sentences. Some of the things we want to keep in mind that we want to include into our summary is who is it about? So who are the main characters? We also want to include maybe what the character did or what the character wanted. We may also need to include what the problem was. What did that character face in the story? We're also going to include how that character tried to solve the problem. So what did the character do to make sure that their problem was solved? And then last, we're going to include how that problem was solved. So what was the resolution to that problem? Right now, we're going to go ahead and read a short story called Brad's Backpack. And then we're going to go ahead and look at how we might be able to summarize this story in just a few sentences. Brad's Backpack. Every morning, each student in Mr. Lin's class put his or her backpack into a cubby. That is, everyone except for Brad. He had a habit of dropping his backpack on the floor by the classroom door. Every day, Mr. Lin asked him to put it away. Every day, Brad didn't listen. One morning, Brad dropped his backpack on the floor as usual. He sat down at his desk. He wondered when Mr. Lin was going to see that he had done it again. A few minutes into class, Nikki raised her hand. Mr. Lin called on her. Nikki said, "I feel sick." She added, "Can I go to the nurse?" Then Nikki jumped up, covering her mouth. She ran for the garbage can next to the door. She didn't make it. Nikki threw up all over the floor and all over Brad's backpack. The next morning, Brad walked to the back of the classroom. He put his new backpack into a cubby. We're going to go ahead and we're going to look at summarizing Brad's backpack. So we want to first go ahead and look at the characters in our book. So who were the characters in this story? We had Mr. Lin, Brad, and Nikki. Alright, then we want to look at what happened in the story. What was it that they wanted? Well, Mr. Lin wanted every student to put their backpacks in their cubby. The problem? What do you think the problem was? Alright, so the problem was Brad, let's make this a little smaller. Brad left his backpack on the floor in front of the cubbies every day. So, because he left his backpack on the floor every day, what happened because of that? So, Nikki was not feeling well and ran to the trash can because she felt sick. On her way to the trash can, she threw up all over Brad's backpack. All right. Then what happened? So what was the solution to that? After she threw up all over his backpack, what happened? Brad hung up his new backpack in his cubby the next day. Now that we have a little list of our summary, we're going to go ahead and put that into paragraph form. So we have we're going to put our ideas and our summaries into paragraph form. So at the beginning of each day, Mr. Lynn's class was supposed to put their backpacks in their cubbies before going to their seat. Every day, Brad decided to put his backpack on the floor in front of his cubby. One day, Nikki was not feeling well and ran to the trash can because she was going to be sick. On her way to the trash can, Nikki threw up on Brad's backpack. The next day, Brad made sure to put his backpack in his cubby where it belonged. So I took that whole story and I made it shorter by just telling the key details. So what happened at the beginning, kind of what happened in the middle of the story, and what happened at the end of the story. And I made it shorter by just telling what the whole story was about how they were supposed to put their backpacks away in their cubbies, and Brad decided that he wasn't going to. He was going to leave it on the floor. And then what happened because he left it on the floor. He had to get a new backpack because Nikki threw up on it. So, now that we have learned how to summarize, I'm going to read you Chapter 2 of Kindness Counts, and I want you to send me your summary of Chapter 2. And Chapter 2 is called Amazing Ideas. So listen closely to what happens, and then send me your summary. Here we go. Chapter 2, Amazing Ideas. I told you so, I whispered to Josh. I knew it. Just knew it. I knew I was going to pick Max's name, just like when we did Secret Santa. I'm always the one who gets stuck with Max. What am I going to do? Don't worry, Freddie, said Josh. You'll think of something. Easy for you to say. You're so lucky you picked Jessie. Of course I had to pick the biggest bully in the whole second grade. Keep that name you picked a secret, Miss Clark said and smiled. You want your random act of kindness for that person to be a surprise. Remember, we are going to be doing this all week. I'm going to need that long to come up with something kind to do for Max, I thought to myself. Now, said Miss Clark, let's see if we can brainstorm some ideas of kind things you all can do throughout the week, so the kindness chain can make it all the way around our school. Does anyone have any ideas? Chloe waved her hand mildly in the air. Me. I have lots of ideas, she said. She jumped up and walked to the front of the room. You're gonna love my ideas. Sit down, Fancy Pants, said Max. Miss Clark didn't call on you. Chloe put her hands on her hips and glared at Max. Oh, yes, she did. Oh, no, she didn't, Max shot back. Yes, she did, and you're not the boss of me, so you can't tell me what to do. Chloe whined and stamped her foot. Miss Clark shook her head and mumbled, "Here we go again." Max jumped up and started to walk toward Chloe. Miss Clark gently put her hand on his shoulder and directed him back to a spot on the rug. But, Max protested, "she's not the boss." "I know," said Miss Clark, smiling. "I am." Chloe frowned and stuck out her lower lip. "Now, Chloe, please sit back down on the rug. We'd love to hear your ideas, but you have to wait until I have called on you. Just because you raise your hand doesn't mean you get to go first." Chloe stuck her lip out even further, hung her head, and slowly shuffled back to her seat. "Look at her," whispered Jessie. "She's such a drama queen." "Now, where were we?" said Miss Clark. "You wanted some ideas of random acts of kindness," said Jessie. "Oh, right. Thanks, Jessie," said Miss Clark. "Do you have any ideas of kind acts you could do here at school?" Jessie smiled. "I do." "Great. We would love to hear them." Chloe folded her arms across her chest and sighed heavily. "I have 2 ideas," said Jessie. "You could play with someone new at recess, and you could clean up someone else's mess at snack time." "Those are 2 wonderful ideas," said Miss Clark. "Does anyone else have a suggestion?" Miss Clark called on Josh. "If you're waiting for a turn on the swings at recess, you could let someone go in front of you," said Josh. "What?" Max blurted out. "That's crazy. Why would I let someone cut in front of me?" "Because that's a kind thing to do," said Miss Clark. "That's what this week is all about, thinking about other people and showing them that you care." Josh elbowed me in the side. "Get a load of Max's face right now," he whispered. "He looks very confused." "That's because I don't think he knows what the word caring means," I whispered back. Josh laughed. "How about at home?" Miss Clark asked. "What kind acts could you do for your family?" Chloe's hand shot up and she bounced up and down, but she didn't yell out, so Miss Clark called on her. "You could buy everyone in your family really expensive gifts. I could get my mom this fancy gold ring she saw at the jewelry store in the mall yesterday, and I could get my dad one of those huge television sets that takes up a whole wall, and—" Miss Clark cut her off. "Giving presents to people you love is a thoughtful thing to do, but that is not what this week is about." "What do you mean?" said Chloe, scrunching up her nose. I elbowed Josh this time. "Get a load of Chloe's face right now," I whispered. "Now she's the one who looks confused." "That's because I don't think she knows how to make someone happy without spending money," Josh whispered back. "You got that right," I chuckled. "What I mean is that you want to think about what someone else might need and then offer your help," said Miss Clark. "Random Acts of Kindness Week is about helping other people with our actions, not with our money." Chloe still looked confused. "Let's see if anyone else has any ideas about what you could do at home to help your family," said Miss Clark. I raised my hand. "You could help fold the laundry or vacuum the carpets," I said. "Super ideas," said Miss Clark. "You want to come and do that at my house, Freddie?" I smiled. Chloe pouted. Jessie raised her hand. "I could help my abuela, my grandma, wash the dishes after dinner, or take out the garbage." "Garbage? P.U., Chloe said, holding her nose. "Garbage is stinky." "Wow," said Miss Clark, ignoring Chloe. "You are all coming up with some great ideas." "I have an idea of something you could do for your neighbor," said Josh. "The other day I saw that one of my neighbors has a lot of weeds in her garden. I could go pull out all the weeds." "I could write a kind note and put it in my neighbor's mailbox," said Margot, another girl in my class. "You all have definitely got some amazing ideas," said Miss Clark, "and I know that your caring and thoughtful acts of kindness will bring happiness to other people. Then they will pass that kindness on to someone else, and that person will pass it on to someone else, and on and on and on." Just then I had a great idea. I raised my hand. "Yes, Freddie?" said Miss Clark. "I have an idea of something we could do as a whole class," I said. "Really? I'd love to hear it. We could all bring in one book that we don't read anymore and one toy that we don't play with anymore and donate them to the kids living in the homeless shelter." A big smile spread across Mrs. Clark's face. "I love that idea, Freddie. What do you all think?" Miss Clark asked the rest of the class. "I love it too," said Jessie. "Me too," said Josh. "Me too, me too, me too," everyone chimed in. "Great," said Miss Clark. "We'll do it. Look around your house and find one book and one toy to donate and bring them into school by the end of the week. We'll collect them here in the classroom, and then I can bring them over to the homeless shelter this weekend. Finding a book and toy to donate would be easy. Thinking of something kind to do for Max was going to be the hard part. Alright, so that's the end of chapter 2, Great Ideas. And I want you to go ahead and think about what I just read to you, and I want you to summarize what chapter 2, Great Ideas, is all about. And then on Monday, we're going to read Underwear War, chapter 3. So go ahead and write up that summary, and Mom or Dad can send me a message in Class Dojo, or you can go ahead and drop your summary right below. Have a great day, guys.